MSU on three. 1, 2, 3.
MSU.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of the Lion Coaches Show with Lion head football coach Tim Clifton. Coach, a very enjoyable weekend here on the Mars Hill University campus as the Mountain Lions pick up their home conference opener win against UVA Wise, a big 44-9 victory for the Lions. I'm sure you had some very happy young men in the locker room.
We did, and you know those guys were they were excited about the win, but you know they were also excited about how hard they played. I thought we played extremely hard, and we challenged them before the game to play hard, and we challenged them to, you know, to be focused in and to have fun, but to get after it and really play hard and be relentless. And I thought we were relentless for 4 quarters. I thought they really were.
They came out much improved, I think, over the previous week. You and I talked about that they just didn't have their normal intensity. Well, they had their intensity this time, and it really showed in that contest. We had a great crowd on hand on the Saturday afternoon game. Some folks, I talked to somebody that came by the campus. They said, "We were there Thursday. Where was the game?" I said, "Well, you got there early. It was going to go on Saturday." But a little bit warmer. I think we had to deal with some of the heat situation for some folks along the way. But from a overall standpoint, offense, defense, they complemented each other. I thought, and maybe I'm wrong, but I thought from my perspective that is one of the more complete games we've put together.
Yeah, I thought that both sides of the ball really they really produced. They played hard, but they also functioned at a high level. After the first series on offense and after the first series on defense, I thought that we functioned at a real high level. I thought our defense played extremely hard, and you know, I'm not positive, but I'm not sure there was one guy around the ball ever. It just looked like we were just coming in there, and everybody was running to the football, and everybody was trying to get in the mix. And, you know, I thought we had a great defensive game plan, and I thought our guys did a great job of executing it after the first drive. And, you know, we held them scoreless in the second half, and we gave up one play really in the first half. And then I thought our offense, as time went on, started really executing and being able to run the football. And then, you know, players make plays, and some of those guys made some big plays.
They really did. Is there any one particular thing, except you just keep doing it, repetition, from the previous week where there were so close on catching some passes and picking this off? Is there anything from a coaching standpoint, any tweaks that you guys make behind the scenes? Or is it one of those, you stay consistent with your repetitive practices and then eventually that's going to spill over into a game?
Yeah, I think the biggest key is they got to focus on the process. And the process is every day, and you know, and they got to believe in the process. And you know, you go through football as a routine. I mean, it sort of stays the same all week, where other people play, maybe other sports play 2 or 3 games. Football is the same routine, and you just want to follow the process and believe in it and trust in it. And but if you practice, and we had a really good week of practice, and if you practice hard, and if you practice to get better, because practice makes permanent is what it does. And what you want to do is for them to practice extremely well during the week. And I thought we had a really good week of practice. And you know, you as a coach, it doesn't matter how many years you do it, you still get nervous and you before a game and all. But Saturday, for some reason, it would just look like we were focused in, a good week of practice, and I felt really good when we went out there. I just felt that our guys had come to play, and we turned it over on the second play. They score on the third play. It could have been a disastrous beginning, but we stopped a 2-point play, and then we make a drive and score. And from then I thought, well, now our guys they're dialed in, and they were relentless for 4 quarters.
They really were. I mean, that was one of those things that if you look at the stats, we had some phenomenal numbers in various categories. Quickly run down a couple of different items and get your thoughts on it. And scoring, as you said, that's the only time we kind of were that close, and then they scored, but then we came back, as you said, relentlessly, one after another, because it is such a momentum swing early on. And that's not something, and I'm sure there's some people going, uh-oh, is it going to be one of those tough afternoons? But that looked to me, on our side of the ball, Tim, that looked to me like a very seasoned, disciplined ball club in the bright yellow out there Saturday.
They did, and I thought they, and you talk about overcoming adversity all the time, and that's part of it. It hit quick, and instead of going in a panic mode or anything else, they just went through the process, knowing that it's 4 quarters and knowing that it's going to be a long day. And, the old saying is you got to score anyway. So if somebody gets one, you just say, you got to score anyway, so let's go do it. And,
Absolutely.
And I thought we put together a good drive and scored. And I thought the field goal that we made even gave us a little more oomph. And so I was really proud of the way we just didn't even let those 2 mistakes bother us. We just kept going after it and kept working and kept flying around and kept playing.
One of those players that had a great afternoon or a good day at the office, as some people would say, was Tyce Nelson, local product from Hot Springs, North Carolina, played at Madison High School and able to recruit him into the Lion program. Let's talk about that, because Ty had one of those exceptional afternoons that it was just clicking for him. But for it to be clicking for him, that meant whether it was passing or handoffs, whatever, again, practice. You could see where you had dialed up those plays in the past, and this time they were perfect.
Yeah, I thought he made a great run down the goal line. It was just for 1 yard, but he got hit in the backfield and still got in the end zones. And then the catch he made in the end zones was a phenomenal catch. I mean, went up one-handed and brought it back down. And then the one we hit him in the middle on, we've had that play and run that play over the years. And that play's either going to be completely covered or it's going to be opened up. And it opened up from sideline to sideline.
Sure did.
And we've run it over the years, but again, it's one of those that is just wide open, or somebody is playing him man to man, and they watch him and they don't leave. They stay home and they either deflect it, pick it, or whatever. But that one, he was just able to. He could have jogged in. I mean, it was so wide open, but the scheme of it is a great scheme, and they got caught. They got caught in the middle of the scheme of that play.
That's one of those plays I was thinking, because we have, as long as you've been coaching, that play pops up ever so often, and that's one of those that, and you've probably heard it on your end. That's one of those that folks are like, that Tim Clifton, he's a offensive genius. Or then they're going, what in the world?
Yeah.
But it is for those young people to be able to execute it.
Yeah.
And that was textbook on what Ty was able to do.
Yeah, and I thought the way Coach Surratt schemed it up, bringing the wide receivers into the running back, because last year we'd bring Rucker into, and then we'd get him out of the backfield so they couldn't get their hands on him and throw it to him. And we brought both wideouts in, and when they both took off, everybody's chasing. But I thought it was a great scheme the way he schemed it up. Same play, just schemed it up a little different. And they worked on it all week, and he and I talked about it. I said, they're either going to be standing there waiting on it, or it's going to be a touchdown.
Going to be really, really good.
And it did. But the way it was schemed up, I thought was really smart on his part.
End of the first quarter, Mountain Lions are in front, 9-6, and then we go into the second period of play, the biggest in terms of point total for Mars Hill. All sorts of scoring going on there as we do put the 21 points on the board. Thompson gets that 85-yard pass from Jimmy Urzua. Point after is good. Again, Tyce Nelson, 21-yard pass from Jimmy Urzua. Kick's good. Jahari Mitchell, 1-yard pass from Jimmy Urzua. It's good. That was a great way to end halftime, going into the half. At the same time, we've seen UVA Wise play enough to know that's still a dangerous ball team, even though you've got a fairly substantial lead on them.
Yeah, I thought our defense did a good job of getting a turnover. And then we did a good job of managing the clock, and we scored with no time left. And that's what you want to do. But getting that turnover, I thought was huge. And Wise is always. You've been around for a long time. It's always been a tough game for us. Over there 2 years ago, it was nip and tuck, and we won it at the end. Years ago here, we had them here, and it was nip and tuck. And we played them over there one year when I thought we were at least 30 points better with Abdullah and them when they were here. And we had to beat them in overtime, And they've always been a tough opponent. It's always been just, it's always just been a tough game. And before the game, Dane and I talked, and he said, we're pretty evenly matched, and I thought we were too. And but we just played so well, I thought. But I thought our defense and the scheme that we put together, that Coach Barnett and his staff put together, we took away a lot of their short throws, which they're so good at. And once we made him have to stay back there, we were able to sack him. If you'd have told me we could have got to him 6 times, I would have said, no, we'll never get to him, because ETSU couldn't get to him. They struggled getting to him. And for us to be able to run the football the way we did, I thought was fantastic, because it opened up the pass game. And again, I thought we ran it better than ETSU did against them.
Tristan Rankin, 6 solo tackles. Dexter Fitzpatrick. Dexter again had a good afternoon for the Mountain Lions, 1 solo and 5 times as an assist on those tackles. He talked about the short game for UVA Wise. In the times we've seen them, particularly I think the last 3 or 4 years, they've used that very short pass ground attack to build the momentum. And defensively, you just short-circuited that.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, this is what we use to come back in a game. It's not working, and they never could get anything else to flow against our defense.
No, and we did a great job of taking the run away. They creased you a couple of times. That's going to happen. But I thought our defense did a great job of taking the run away. Our front did a good job of playing the run and rushing the passer. And then when you're able to bring, those front guys, Earl Adams, I mean, he's just really having a good year, and he's able to get to them. And Denzel Patton got to him a couple of times. And then when you can bring Honeycutt, Landon Honeycutt, and Dexter Fitzpatrick, when you can bring those guys, and Jabril Norman, you got a chance with those guys coming off the edge, getting to the quarterback. But I was really happy that we were able to get to him as many times as we got to him.
I'm sure Lyndon Redwine will be very pleased he doesn't have to look at our defenders the rest of this season, because it made for a rough afternoon for that young man.
Yeah, I think we were just able to put pressure on him that he hadn't seen this year. And, but it starts up front with those guys, and then with those linebackers coming. And then you got to have your backyard has got to cover. And our kids did a good job of covering. They got some things, which they're going to get. But we never just said, we never gave them the opportunity to get momentum going. Our defense just kept them from getting the momentum.
It really did. Third quarter scoring, Mars Hill on the board once again. Ty Snelson's on the receiving end of a pass from Jimmy Arzua. Lions are up 37-9, and then close things out in the fourth quarter of play. Gilbert with pass from Brody Whitson. Get some quarterback play for that young man. Product from T.C. Robertson, if I remember, recruit. We have him in here and continues the tradition. His dad was a kicker for Mars Hill, and Brody's playing for the Mountain Lions. So ended up Mars Hill 44-9. Overall, you have to be, I would think, be pleased with the performance, but realizing that tall order coming up against Lenoir-Rhyne, and there'll be some things to focus on and to pinpoint from a coaching standpoint.
Yeah, I think disappointed that we turned it over. We had a couple of turnovers, and you don't want to turn it over. And then the other thing that we went over yesterday is pre-snap penalties. We can't have pre-snap penalties. You're going to have some holding. You're going to have some things that happen during the course of the game. You just don't want a penalty before the ball snapped. And that's the things that we got to get better at. We got to get better at not turning over. But our defense got the turnovers for us too. We were able to get 3 turnovers, and those really helped us. And anytime you win a turnover battle, and I thought we did a great job in the kicking game, and your defense plays good, you got a chance to win, especially if you play hard. And I thought that was the kicker. I thought we played extremely hard, but we've got a lot that we've got to work on. I mean, we still got some things we need to clean up, on offense and defense. And, it was good to have your kickers back. I mean, we played a game without any kickers. And I'm not sure I've ever done that. I mean, even
not as long as I remember, Kate.
Even when I coached JV football 100 years ago, we had a kicker. So it was unusual not to have one at all. And Wise is coach today, and he said, "I'm just guessing you had some guy, your kickers were out." I said, "Yeah, you're guessing right. I said, you're a genius."
Absolutely. Big win by the Mountain Lions as they defeat UVA Wise. Now, we talked about it, teased about it just a little bit the week ahead with Lenoir-Rhyne coming up, but what we would like to do right now is share with you some of the highlights from the Lions' victory as they go 1-0 in the South Atlantic Conference. We hope you enjoyed those highlights from a very enjoyable Saturday afternoon in Mears Stadium. Coach, coming up this Saturday, we take to the road, 6 p.m. kickoff down in Hickory as the Mountain Lions take on the Bears of Lenoir-Rhyne University. There in their little bricked area. Great place for a football game, great facilities, always a tough place to play. And let's kind of give everybody an idea of going into that, where we are in terms of what happened last weekend. Mars Hill with a 44-9 victory over UVA Wise. Wingate puts 25 points on Carson Newman as it's a 25-3 victory by the Bulldogs. Limestone Tusculum, that was a seesaw game back and forth. The Tusculum 24, Limestone 21 in a final. And Newberry ending I think it was an 18-game South Atlantic Conference winning streak by the Bears, a 28-21 victory over Lenoir-Rhyne. First off, Coach, over the years, how many times it seems that the team we're playing just before then, it's like, well, one of their players, he needs 400 yards in this game, and it's like, oh boy, and then he gets whatever. Or, oh, it stopped that streak, and then you know as well as I do, they're going to be fired up.
Yeah, I think they'll be. It's their first home game too, so I think they'll really be fired up to play. I think they'll be about as excited as you can get for them to get home and get to play, and that's a great stadium to play in. And over the last few years, they've had unbelievable tradition. Playing on and off the road, and but if you've ever been to Newberry, you know that's a tough place to play. Now, we've been there over the years a lot. That's a tough place to play, and Newberry is really, really talented, and and it was a back and forth game. It was really a great contest, and both teams played extremely well. But Lenoir-Rhyne has just had so much success in the last few years, and going in there to play will be a challenge for us, but it'll be fun. You always want to go, and you always want to get their best. I mean, that's what you want. You want to go get their best, and we got to give our best.
Quarterback-wise, looking at some of the stats from the matchup against Newberry, Willingham was back in, getting some reps and some play at the QB position. He had been out for a few games. So they look like statistically they have two threats at the QB position. And then you look at the receiving core, very deep, as always. Going into this contest, more of a worry of passing game, running game, or yes?
They're very balanced, and Willingham's a good player. I mean, he led them to several conference championships, and at wideout, they just are very, very talented. One of them, he'll have a chance to play at the next level. He's just 6'3", he's 220 pounds, and he runs extremely well, has good hands. He's big, he's strong. So that's going to pose, a threat. And then they've got some veteran guys up front on offense and a veteran quarterback. And the running back he has good vision, and he's real quick. And so that side will be, for us, the challenge will be, can we get them stopped? And then once they start throwing it, can we cover them? And they do a great job of play action and throwing the ball over the top. That's one of the things they do extremely well. And it's like us. If you get the run game going, you do about what you want to do, And then defensively they're very sound. And what they do is sound, and they run to the football, and they're really good up front, and they're really good at safety. And it seems like they're always good at safety. They got one playing right now, starting for Seattle. I mean,
Yes, sir.
you would think sooner or later they'd run out of safeties, but they're really good at safety.
Looking at their game against Newberry and then looking at recap of some of ours, both teams cut down significantly last week in terms of penalties. That's one of those that, you know as well as I do, it's going to add to the excitement of the game if that continues for both squads, because otherwise there is no momentum. It can't get going.
That's right. And, the saying is, and it's true, I mean, the statistics and the studies, if you have over 100 yards in penalties, you've given up 7 points. And your goal is to make sure you stay way under 100, but stay under 100 yards. And, cut your penalties and keep them to a minimum. But the ones that just, reason you got gray hair is because of pre-snap penalties, and a lot of other things, but pre-snap penalties.
We look forward to the game. A lot of us traveling down the mountain to the friendly confines. Lenoir-Rhyne. They will always welcome us down there. Great conference matchup, has been for years, back in District 26 days. So if you want to watch a very good football game and you're scanning through the channels or you're working your way through Roku, be sure and catch the Mars Hill Lenoir-Rhyne game. It's at 6 o'clock. We've played under the lights, so that should not be a factor for Mars Hill. And we look forward to seeing you in Hickory. If you can't make it, log on, watch the game. And then Tim Clifton and Stuart Jolley, well, we'll be back next week to analyze what happened and look ahead to the next one. On behalf of Mars Hill University head football coach Tim Clifton, I'm Stuart Jolley. Thank you for being part of the Lion family. Have a safe and pleasant day.
MHU on three. 1, 2, 3.
MHU